If it looks like an apple and feels like an apple, can it be a Samsung? Yes, it can. Let's talk to Ryan Vlastelica about the Apple-Samsung case in Korea.
Right.
And the ruling there that Samsung did not violate the design patents on his phone.
Right.
Apple's patents.
It's big news. This is what we've been waiting to see. Of course, we're more interested in what the U.S. court has to say about this, but coming from Korea, it's an interesting way to sort of like see what we might expect. Of course, in this whole deal, there's the question, is Samsung just ripping off the Apple design? You can sort of see the two right there. And there are obviously similarities in between the two. However, not too much of a similarity according to the court that there's some kind of violation. However, this is a big ruling, and there were also some indications that Apple infringed on some Samsung patents, and Samsung also infringed on some from Apple. So I mean, that's sort of small change compared to the big issues at play here.
Right.
And
a few $1,000s back and forth.
Right.
Chump change for these guys. Yeah.
Absolutely. And of course, that is all small changes compared to what comes out of the U.S. court ruling. And of course, jury is deliberating right now. We'll see what happens with that.
Because we're on Apple's home turf in Silicon Valley here in the U.S. with this trial, and we were in Korea, obviously, on Samsung's home turf. So we'll wait and see this week what happens there.
Okay.
Okay, let's move it to the hot spot. And as we do, check out the headlines that run beneath me for further news of the day. Ryan, you big Knicks fan? You big Rangers fan? Okay,
Sure.
I got nothing. MSG, you know that, right?
Yeah, it's delicious.
What, you put in Chinese food? Not so much. Okay. As in Madison Square Garden, parent company of Knicks Rangers, fiscal fourth quarter, thanks to all those playoff games of those two teams, earnings more than tripled. Shares are trading at an all-time high.
Right. Profits much better than expected. A lot of this was due to Jeremy Lin and the whole Linsanity phenomenon that swept the country a few months ago. Of course, it's like he's gone now.
And
so
then he bailed on us.
Right, exactly. But because of the popularity surrounding that, Madison Square Garden was able to negotiate a more lucrative contract with Time Warner Cable, and that was one of the main drivers for this. So, I mean, that's obviously very good, but we'll see what happens now that he's gone and what the ad rates will be like going forward. But for the moment,
Jason Kidd, not so much. Okay. Lost on you completely.
I watch
I know
Zap.
you.
I don't watch
you
baseball
just
and basketball.
Went blank. No sports terms for Ryan.
Okay.
But your affiliate fees, as you mentioned, and ad revenue helping to boost. They're up 5% today, MSG.
Right. Good news.
Let's switch and talk about Eli Lilly Drug Company coming out with experimental new Alzheimer's drug. Good news, bad news here, although the stock is up today 3%.
Stock is up quite nicely today. Like you said, it was sort of a mixed bag. Basically, they came out with new data on this drug. They're going through various trials to get it approved. They have these goals for the trial, and the drug fell short of them. However, it did show some progress in terms of alleviating symptoms for early onset Alzheimer's patients.
Right.
That's enough to indicate that maybe the drug could be salvaged, and that's enough to indicate that maybe there's like future hope for this. Of course, the Alzheimer's drug market is massive, and any kind of like effective treatment would just be like a blockbuster for any pharmaceutical company.
Exactly.
So this is something that investors are very encouraged by. It's not exactly what we were hoping for, but
disappointing for late stage, but as you said, any sort of glimmer of hope for early stage, it's enough to bump the share price here and
yes,
give
absolutely.
folks hope for that. Okay, very quickly, Yelp. This is yet another volatile social media stock. IPO in March, and like Facebook now, it's facing a lockup expiration come Wednesday. Shares are up 6% today, but they've dropped a lot of late.
Right. Again, all these stocks have been incredibly volatile. Some of the most volatile stocks out there, moving just massive percentages every day. With the lockup next week, we'll see what happens with Yelp. Obviously, with Facebook, we saw a big drop just because of people selling. It's probably going to happen here with Yelp, but we'll see. Of course, Yelp is facing some of the major issues that all these other social networking stocks are facing in terms of how you're monetizing your user base, where you're getting your revenue from,
advertising,
the mobile thing. I mean, I use Yelp on my phone all the time.
Oh, good
a
for
lot
you.
of people do. Is that enough to generate ads and revenues like that? So that's the main question at stake here.
Take it to the market monitor. Let's see what
right.
the broader markets are doing right now, Ryan. Not too bad. Didn't quite start this way, right? But
no, we sort of started off the day a little bit flat. These gains just sort of come up recently in the past hour or so. Basically what happened was there was a report that the European Central Bank may set yield band targets. I had to write it down because I don't want to make it right. Yield band targets on a bond buying program. This isn't official yet. We'll get an official decision in early September, but right now this would be enough to sort of like quell people like speculating on this market to a greater extent. It could just provide a little bit more stability, and that's helping indexes now. I will say though, it's a Friday, it's August, it's ahead of Labor Day. trading is as thin as my tie is. So that's why I wore a skinny tie.
Nicely done. You worked on that.
That's a good one.
Well, let me tell you something, though. Nobody makes yield band targets sound as tantalizing as Ryan Blistelica.
Just I want to say one more thing. Even though we are up right now, I'm just going to keep going.
Take your time. We got all day.
Even though we are up right now, we are still lower for the week, and this ends a 6-week string of gains for U.S. stocks. So, I mean, that's just something to keep in mind as well.
Excellent point. Ryan Blistelica, thanks so much. Don't forget, we've got a lot that we tweet about. That is at Reuters Insider. Check out the headlines there and our shows on YouTube, Reuters.com/ReutersTV. I'm Lisa Bernhard. This is Reuters.